Hi everyone, just checking I'm live. Let me have a look. Yeah, there. Okay, so I'll check comments at the end as well. So it's been a pleasure to do these days with you. As you can see, I love talking about human design, so I'm in my element. And thank you for bearing with me with Minnie Dog getting her start settled in this first week with us. So before I go into the reflector type, which is the last energy type in human design, there's something I just want to summarize really. So I've had a few questions in the background, so I want to just go through those. So number one is, if you get the wrong date, there's only one chart that's been generated incorrectly, and that wasn't on my system, that was on another system. It's just a blip or something went wrong somewhere. Double check the so if you've got a chart and it's not resonating with you all, there's either two things: you've got the wrong details. So what can happen is, if you don't have the exact time, if you ever book a reading with me, I can get it nailed down. So I've done that for several people who got a rough idea, and sometimes nothing changes in a time period and sometimes everything changes, but by asking certain questions I can get it nailed down to you. So if you don't know exact time of birth, never ever worry about it. It's always good. And what can happen is, if it is correct and it is your chart and you don't resonate with it, it's due to your conditioning. So it's due to you choosing to not live aligned, to hiding behind a mask, to people pleasing, to playing small, to doing all those things because it's been too challenging. You haven't had any role models to do the personal development work. So if you really think about our parents, I mean, I don't know about yours, but mine really aren't that open to personal development. So they haven't got that growth. So they will be living in their outer self theme in their human design. It's really sad. But that's something that's why I'm so passionate about it. I want as many as people as I can to really get to know themselves. And when you get to know yourself, it ripples out to everyone else and it gives them permission to be more of themselves and stop hiding and be braver and just take life, grab life a bit more. So that's why I love doing it. So if you just hopped on, I've just been talking about getting your chart, and if it's ever wrong, double check your time and double check the details with the parents of the person you're doing your chart for. Sometimes I put their details in, and you know how your eyes just play tricks, like I put a 3 instead of a 5 because it was 03/1975 or something. So double check. I've only had one chart wrong ever. And if you don't know your time of birth, I put detail. I've said how I can sort that out. So if you've got a rough time, I can often sort that out for you. Well, I've sorted it out for everyone. I'm very good at getting the right charts for you. So that's what I want to summarize. If there's any questions, I'll have to have a look on Facebook on my phone, and I will come back at the end and answer those because I love questions. So before I go into the reflectors, I just want to tell you about the bonuses and things that I'm offering this week. So if you do want to book a reading with me, I'll put all the links in the emails for you. You will get a free human design blueprint. Now, this is bespoke to you. I love creating them. I love things that look really, really pretty. So I'm just going to show you briefly. I don't know if you can see that. So it's A4 size, but it's long. It's got a lot of detail. So what people find is this is a resource that people keep coming back to time and time again. So in the human design reading, I spend 90 minutes with you. And if there's ever something that you need coaching through, we stop and hang there a while and we get you to move through. Because you could have all the wisdom, all the knowledge in the world, but unless you're applying it and experimenting and seeing where you're stuck, nothing's going to change. So I love actually stopping sometimes, pausing and saying, can I help you with that? Can we go a bit deeper? And then you get a big aha and everything's going to change. As you can see by my face, I love it. So you get the recording and you get the blueprint. So it isn't just, it's literally for life. Like, it's for life. I've changed my whole business, my whole life with it. I've written a book because of what's in my blueprint. It just gives me permission to be me. And I look at it sometimes and I remember, actually, you're all right. You've got these gifts, like, you're good. And when you don't feel all right, it's because of this. And that's okay too. Have compassion, love yourself. Seiko loves it. When I get means I really love it. And the last thing before I get into reflectors is that on the 22nd to the 24th, I've got another free challenge, free experience, free 3-day experience. And this is going to talk about the concept of Dharma. So this is a culmination of everything I've been ever studying all of my life, past lives, and my passions. And so I'm just introducing the concept of Dharma. So Dharma is, because I'm a trained Dharma coach, I trained a few years ago and then I found human design. So now I'm putting it all together with yogic philosophy and Sanskrit. Dharma is your spiritual soul life purpose. So we look at weaving that into life and business, and it's going to be yummy. So that's a 3-day experience, and it's leading into my Dharma codes, a beautiful program I'll be launching soon for the first time. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say at the beginning, because otherwise I forget to do it at the end. Oh, and if you want to work with other ways, there's other ways to work with me. So always have a look at my offerings. Always, if there's something you really want to look at, ask me and I can recommend what's the best way. I've got the Embodied Soul podcast, which is linked in your emails now. That's very human design, business, soul, Dharma based now as well. So reflectors are so rare. So they're 1% or less than 1% of the population. And so, you've seen the human design chart with all those coloured or white centres. All those centres are white, completely white. So this means that they are mirrors. I won't go into the energy centres because it's another level, but this means that they're here to be the mirrors and reflect back to the rest of us how we're doing as a society and as an individual. They're such beautiful creatures to be around. So what their aura does, it mirrors back, but it takes in energy and it samples it and it amplifies the energy. So if they're with someone who feels really good, who's really balanced, they'll feel balanced, and they'll like mirror this energy of feeling good back to that other person or the people around them. So they'll be like a beacon of goodness for the day. So it's super important that reflectors have to be in the right environment, because they sample this energy all the time. So if you're sampling energy and it's not a nice environment, you're not surrounded by your tribe, by your people, by critical people and judgmental people, you're going to be feeling that and reflecting it. So it's not good for you and it's not good for anybody, and mirroring that back. So personality wise, they're very talkative, wise, passionate and sensitive people. They're embodied wisdom. They're just like these soulful eyes that see everything. They're amazing. So they're very, very attuned to nature and the moon, and they have such deep capacity for wisdom. Now, I've talked about conditioning, and I've talked about how this not self theme. Reflectors are even though they've got all these white centers, are very resilient to conditioning. So they don't get conditioned very easily. It's just the way their energy flows. That's how they're designed. They're designed to kind of, I suppose, because they're designed to mirror it back to people. But they can really read and experience all this. So if you're with a reflector, it's a bit like being with a projector. There's no hiding. There's no hiding. They can see if you're authentic or not. They can see how you're living. They can see if something's off in your physical health or emotional health or the health of a group. They just see their deep, deep wisdom. So I'll go through the strategy because I think you'll be quite surprised. So just to recap, generators wait to respond. Mangens wait to respond and inform. Manifestors inform, and then projectors wait for the invitation. Now, reflectors are wait for a lunar cycle, whole 28 days. So the reason being, they've got all this is going to be quite in depth, but I think you'll find it interesting. So I know I've had some really good feedback about this week. So all the white centers are affected by the moon. So say, for example, something's illuminating the G center. This is this triangle. this diamond shape in the middle of the body graph. That's your sense of direction and love, of loving and being loved. If that's illuminated, that day they'll be like this, whoa, I feel love today, like I know my direction, I know exactly where I'm going. It will be illuminated. So what happens if they've got a big decision to make on that day, they've got this energy center lit up that isn't actually theirs, so they won't be making the best decision. So as the moon and the sun both go round, but they're affected by the moon, go round and highlight the gates and all the numbers, just let's say the numbers in the chart and the centers, they'll be feeling differently every day. So it's really important that they wait for a big decision, not about what to eat for dinner, because whatever they choose that day is right for them, but a big decision. So if it was a job, I would definitely say they need to go to that place and spend time there. So important, and not to rush that decision. So this waiting period is really a chance to feel in to their decisions, to gain new perspectives, more clarity, and just wait for the truth to emerge. But can you imagine having to wait for a month for, if you've got a job interview and you go, well, I just need to wait for a month to see how it goes. It's so challenging, because we're wired for like decide now. And I've got an emotional authority, which means that I need to wait about 24 hours before making a decision. So now I say to my friends, I'll let you know tomorrow. I need a bit of time. I never know straight away. And that's challenging managing that sometimes, let alone a lunar cycle. But it's really important for them to experience the subtle changes of how they feel as the energy goes through all of their chart, all of their gates. So yeah, they just need the chance to have clarity on what to pursue. But they're always pressurized to make quick decisions, and then they find themselves disappointed with the outcomes. So there are ways, this is very intricate. If you are a reflector, you just approach human design not differently, but it's a different way to most energy types. So I won't go into it too much because it's quite detailed. So going to bed, like projectors and manifestors, they need to wind down. Whereas, just to recap, gens and man-gens, exhaust yourself before you go to bed. So really, really gentle relaxation. So they're not self-themed. So when they're out of alignment, they're going to feel disappointment, because they've been pressured to do something or make a decision, and they do it and they're like, oh, it's not for me, it's not the thing. And so they can quite often feel a bit like outcasts in the groups that they are in, or everything feels a bit too much because their environment's super important for them. And signature theme is surprise. So when they feel surprised, it's like this fresh energy, like spring energy, like surprise, I'm still here, little bud coming up from the earth. It's this excitement and joy in the unexpected. Because with this openness that they have, when you've got definition, you kind of know where you're going, or you've got expectations, or your energy goes a certain way. With the reflector being so open, there's like, I don't know what's going to happen today. It's a beautiful energy to be. It's very, very present, very, very flow state. It's a flow state. The open centers, the white centers, are all about flow. So surprise is normal in their lives, and so it's really important for them that they detach from expectations, that they remain present and live from moment to moment. So holistic practices like yoga, meditation, breath work, getting out in nature is super, super important. Honoring the lunar cycles, new moon and full moon rituals, things like that, essential oils. So powerful. So challenges of the reflector are conditioning to rush things and make quick decisions. You literally, if you're a reflector, you just need, and let me know, anybody, if you are a reflector, you just need time to make decisions. I'm just checking to see if there's any comments in a moment. And there's also the conditioning and the expectation to work like a manifestor, like a man-gen or a generator. You just can't do it. You need to rest. So think projector energy or manifestor energy. And quite often they can be a bit overstimulated, like everything can feel a bit too much if they don't know about their human design, and they don't know how to protect themselves from external influences. So with these open centers or white centers, they're constantly taking other people's energy in. So it's really important that they need time alone to get rid. So they just, if you think the white centers, you collect energy that isn't yours. So you need time to discharge it. It's really important. And the deepest fear is invisibility and being excluded, which may cause them to do things to gain attention. So they can often be disappointed if they're not getting the attention. It's not an ego thing. It's just like, if you think so I've got a lot of definition in my chart. So when I'm here, I'm like, oh, I'm here, like my energy is projecting out. And if you think reflectors are more fluid, they often don't know where they are and where they're belonging to. So yeah, they can sometimes overcompensate. And if they haven't waited to get into the right space, then it's not going to be right for them, and they'll get this out of alignment energy. So it's super, super important to wait. I mean, that is challenging. It is challenging, but do you know what? I think it's medicine for all of us to stop rushing and stop having to make decisions now. Who said we had to? We're all so different. Not going to try not to rant today. So as I was sitting yesterday to get the information through for the oils and points, I actually got a diffuser blend through. This is one that I've got from Desiree Dal Lune, which is Siberian fir and lemongrass. And there's different ways you can use it as well. So they're very good for transitions, for helping you when you transition through a period of life or a period of flow or growth. And as I sat and it dropped into my head, it just really, fell into my being that reflectors have this every day. Like every day is a new cycle because they're so impacted by the environment around them. So it felt really good to use this as a very supportive diffuser blend, because when we smell, it really calms the olfactory. It goes up to the olfactory bulb, then the limbic system, and it really calms the emotional state. So it felt really important to give this diffuser blend. And then also you can use them separately for aroma points. So it's multi-purpose, this one. So lemongrass, I do this very regularly because I'm psychic medium, very, very intuitive. I pick up on a lot of stuff, and sometimes I just need to cleanse. So when I feel this heaviness that isn't mine, and that's very much what reflectors can feel like, I literally will put lemongrass on my crown. It's good to dilute because it can be a hot oil there. And then I'll actually take it and I'll just bring it through the aura, just like this. And lemongrass is like this oil energetically cutting anything that isn't yours and then sending it away. So it's super, super powerful. And I love the smell. And you can put it in Thai food as well. It's yummy. And then Siberian fir on K3, which I gave on Monday. So K3, if this is my foot, the inner ankle between the ankle bone and here is the Achilles tendon. So if you go on the inside of your foot, if you just gently touch there, that's K3, or can even put it on the soles of your feet, and that's going to ground your energy so you feel more stable and you have this container for all the energy that you're picking up throughout the day. So let's have a tap. And even if you're not a reflector, tap along with me, because the themes are picking up on how we're conditioned in society, and we all are. And we could all do with slowing down a bit more, apart from manifestors. If they've got the urge, got to do it. So I'll just have a sip of my tea. So sit tall, smell an oil if you've got one. Soften the shoulders, relax the face and neck. Take a deep breath and just feel how slowing the breath brings you back to center, back to you. So side of the hand, tapping. Even though I feel rushed to make decisions, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Even though I feel rushed making decisions, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Even though I don't always feel seen, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Top of the head. I feel rushed all the time to make decisions, to gain clarity, and I never can do it. It doesn't come naturally to me. Sometimes I don't honour my rest. Collarbone. I feel the pressure to keep going and keep going and keep up with everybody around me. Under the armpit. And when I'm with lots of people, it feels so much. Top of the head. You can do this or just tap. I feel the energy. Sometimes I can reflect it back to them. And sometimes it's not the right group. And it feels heavy. I'm going to start honouring my need to rest and get my own energy back. To let go of the things that aren't mine. To the armpit. I'm opening up to waiting longer. Top of the head. How magical that I'm so connected to nature and the moon. I'm so connected to nature and the moon. It's so magical. I'm going to start honouring and respecting this. Tapping into the power and wisdom of being a reflector. Trusting my connection with nature and with source. Allowing myself time to be alone. This is my medicine. This is where my power lies. And then I can reflect back and be the mirror of wisdom that I am here to be. Then I can reflect back and be the mirror of wisdom that I'm here to be. Just tap under the armpit, close your eyes and breathe that in. So just see how that feels in the body. I'm just going to see the questions. I'm just going to see and turn the volume down. So Joe's asked, are all types affected by the lunar cycles in the same way as reflectors? Not the same way. It's called the transit. So all energy types are affected by both, but every energy type apart from reflectors is super affected by the sun, and reflectors are very, very unique in the human design world. They're really affected by the lunar. So you have transit calendars, and they're not the sun transit calendars. That's where the sun illuminates the gates. Is super important, actually. It's something I'm experimenting with more, and what days to do things and things like that. Very, very complicated. It's quite in depth, but that's for any energy type apart from reflectors. Reflectors are so that their moon is their number one influence, really, as well as people. So great question, Joe. Thank you. So the answer is no, they're not. It's very, very different. So just going to wait a second for any more questions. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's fascinating. And when I learned human design, didn't mean to do it. I was doing my Dharma coaching course, and at the end it popped up, and I lent in Generators, Man Jones, you lean in, and because I'd heard it everywhere, I was like, I don't want to do human design. Everyone's doing it. They're not, but it felt like that. And yeah, I just fell in love with it, and I felt seen. When I read my chart, I felt seen, like truly seen at soul level. It was so powerful, and it helped me fall in love with myself. And that was something I was doing anyway for my clients, helping them fall in love with themselves and coach them into believing that they're enough and they're unique and they've got a purpose. And when I got this tool, I was like, oh my goodness, this is powerful, because it's powerful for yourself, but it's also powerful understanding how other people work in the world, because I thrive with routine and the way I do things, as in a sample life can be a lot for people, but not everyone's like that. Not everyone learns like me. Not everyone just likes getting stuck in and doesn't believe in failure, like most of the population believes in failure. So I just thought, wow, I can't coach people who want who I think should have routine just because it's good for me. I need to know what their flow is of energy. So yeah, as you can see, I love it. It's yummy. So I'll be in at some point next week to do the prize draw, and it will be for soul reading. I do beautiful soul card readings, so it will be for that. So I'll look at all the questions. Please keep asking me questions even into next week, because I will answer them. Tag me in though, tag my name in, because I found one the other day from a few months ago and I missed it. So if you've got a question, tag my name in, so at Karen Jackson, and then it will flag up and I'll know it's a question for me. All these will be on I've got the next email to send out today. This should be the best. The first few were a bit confused because of Minnie. My head, I actually feel like I've never looked so tired. I actually feel like I've got a newborn. But it's beautiful and she's settling in well, but still looking very nervous. So we'll see how she goes. But it's been nice to have her in this experience with us all as well, like the energy of her. So if you have any questions, keep asking. And if you want a reading, I'll put the details in the email, and I'll put the details in the Facebook group as well. All right, sending love. I'll just check one more time. There's no more questions. No more questions. I know most people are watching on catch up, which is cool. All right, sending lots of love. And I shall, hopefully I'll see some of you in the next challenge that I do. I love doing these things. And anyone in business, this is my way of connecting with people, and just because I'm not here to initiate and hustle. This is me saying, I love this. Like, I love this. Are you interested? That's the energy. So these days really light me up, as you can tell. Even though I'm tired, I feel better for doing it. And yeah, it's just a beautiful thing, beautiful way of using my energy in the world. All right, sending love. Take care. Bye.